Hello, this is another edition of my show, The Stuart Dahl Show. Starring myself, Stuart Dahl. I'm coming to you live from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, where the current temperature is about plus 4 degrees, and we might get another chance of some drizzle and that maybe tonight, and then it looks like by the looks of things, it looks like it's going to be nice temperature wise and weather-wise throughout the week, unless Mother Nature decides to change her mind. And that, what else? Let's just get right into my show. Um, uh, well, I've had a really good weekend so far. I had bowling yesterday. I'm almost done that for the season. Technically speaking, I have one more week of bowling left because I have other plans this coming Saturday. So looks like right now, as it stands right now in my particular lane number nine, the top three are myself and two other friends of mine, which one of them I used to go to school with, and the other friend of mine I know through my girlfriend. She went to I can't remember where it is, but this is YouTube and that, and I'm not gonna say where she went to school or where my other friend went to school, just because it's YouTube. You never know. There could be crazy people out there. Not about saying there's a whole lot, but you know what I mean. But anyway, some looks like I'm gonna have a busy week as I usually do. Usually I'm out of the house pretty much 5 days a week. Two of those days I go to the agency that I belong to, Equal Opportunities West, and in my other workplace I go to the other 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I work at a retirement home right across the street from the Grace Hospital where I live here in Winnipeg. What else? As you all probably know, it's the right now it's the 71st anniversary of the Battle of Berlin, and the Battle of Berlin lasted from April 16th, 1945, to May 2nd, 1945, and the initial battles of the Battle of Berlin were the first 4 days of the battle from April 16th, 1945 to April 19th, 1945. Those 4 days, the most crucial battles of the Battle of Berlin were fought along the Salo Heights, which is a steep 160-foot high ridge which overlooks the German town of Salo, which is the center of German resistance. And by this time, in the later years of the war, Germany is getting squeezed from both sides. In the West, Germany is getting squeezed back into Germany by the Western Allies, consisting of the Americans, the French, the British, and that. And then also from the East, they're getting squeezed. Germany's getting squeezed back into Germany by the Soviet Red Army. And then also the Western Allies are coming up through Italy. So pretty much by the later years of the war, Germany running has been running short of increasingly short of manpower, equipment, and that. So in October of 1944, there was the formation of the Volkssturm, which is basically the German equivalent of the Home Guard, German Home Guard. What else? So basically, any German males between the ages of 16 and 60 are eligible for conscription into the Volkssturm. And basically, any German male that is found as a deserter is basically punished by death. So basically, by the later years of the World War II, all German males that are eligible for conscription are into the Volkssturm are basically literally the only people that are left to defend the German capital Berlin, which are basically old men and teenagers. But unfortunately, and basically these are basically the last people to defend the German capital from the Soviet Red Army. And even though at the Tehran at a conference in the Black Sea, I believe it was in the Black Sea port of Yalta, I can't remember what year it was, but it was sometime in February. There was a conference between the three major Allied powers, the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union, with basically the three leaders, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin. But at that conference, it had been decided that Berlin would fall in the Soviet zone of occupation. So, in other words, Stalin made doubly sure that the prize would be his, because basically, Stalin was absolutely convinced that he must control Berlin, and once he controls Berlin, he'd be controlling the center of post-war Europe, which in a way he did after the German surrender, because peace was not fully restored to Eastern Europe for another 45 years, and so Germany was divided up into four sectors. In the west were the Americans, the French, and the British, and in the east the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union, reason why they got the most territory to the east, because they were the ones that planted the hammer and sickle, the flag of the Soviet Union on top of the Reichstag roof. So that's why the Soviet Union got the most territory to the east, and at the beginning of World War II, Germany really didn't have. I'm not saying Germany had the natural resources and that, but they really didn't have enough natural resources and that to fight to sustain a long war in that. Like certain materials in that they needed that were vital to the German war effort were stuff like iron ore and other raw materials, and also petrol and that to fuel up their vehicles, their tanks, and their Sturmgeschütz 3s or Stuck 3s and that. So basically, World War II was basically the most bloody conflict in the history of warfare, but most importantly, the most bloody conflict in the 20th century. At first, World War II was started on September 1st, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. And then Great Britain and France issued Germany with an ultimatum. They basically they said, you either withdraw your forces from Poland or we will declare war on you. Well, Germany uh, didn't listen, so unfortunately, 3 days later, on September 3rd, 1939, France and Great Britain declared war on Germany. And what I mean by Great Britain, there was also, the various countries that, the British Empire, had, like, pardon me, countries like Canada, Australia, like, there's so many countries that were a part of the British Empire at the time during World War II. I just can't, name all of them off the top of my head. So, and then Poland surrendered because, like, they couldn't, match, couldn't really match, like the number of troops and tanks and equipment and aircraft, which were all, vital to the German Blitzkrieg, which is basically lightning war. One of the main things that the Germans possessed that were part of the Blitzkrieg, pardon me, were was the most famous and deadly aircraft of all of World War II, the Ju-88 Stuka dive bomber, which was basically the pardon me, the airborne artillery of the German Wehrmacht. What else? Pardon me. Sorry for the coughing, folks. Anyways, at first it was just, Germany itself and that, but in order for Germany to survive through most of the war, through most of World War II, they formed the so-called the Tripartite Pact, the so-called Axis powers, which were consisted of Germany, Italy, and Japan. Basically, Germany wanted to conquer Europe, and Italy wanted to conquer the Mediterranean, and the Japanese wanted to conquer the Pacific for strategic reasons and for natural resources. Sorry about that, folks. What else? Other than that, World War II in most people's minds was considered the most bloody and bitter conflict of the 20th century. And that, so basically, just in terms of the casualties among like civilians all over Europe, the Mediterranean, the Pacific, and that, and then in the early years of the war, the United States were trying to stay neutral. Basically, they didn't want to get involved in Europe's problems because the United States thought that Nazi Germany was Europe's problem. So basically, the United States, are basically saying, yeah, we're trying to stay neutral here. We're gonna stay out of Europe's problems and try to stay out of World War II. But as the World War II dragged on, Um, for example, in May of 1940, Germany starts conquering Belgium, Norway, France, and that like there's so many countries in Western Europe that Germany conquered. Like I can't name all of them off the top of my head, but France was one of them, and basically the French thought the Maginot Line is so impenetrable, the German troops won't be able to even get into France. While the thing is, the German military had to do, all they simply did is they just simply bypassed the Maginot Line, and they streaked into France by going through the Ardennes Forest, where again the Western Allies thought that German tanks can't go through here, they're not gonna you know be able to invade France. But the thing is, the Western Allies were deadly wrong, and as a result of that, the Allies, consisting of like consisting of the French and the British, which were a part of the British expeditionary force. Sorry for the mispronunciation, but anyways, the further that the German military went into France, that basically they pushed the Allies so far that basically that over 300,000 British and British troops had to be evacuated through the French port of Dunkirk. And and the thing is most of the German generals were like were like wow, really, really, like why would Hitler halt the advance at Dunkirk? Because he thought I'm just gonna Hitler thought I'm just gonna allow the British to escape across the Channel, which in a way was really disastrously bad for Germany, because as the war dragged on, and that there like the casualties and that started mounting, and the losses in terms of like equipment such as tanks and aircraft that started mounting as the war dragged on. And the battle basically Germany wanted to invade Britain, but the Battle of Britain also went disastrously wrong for Germany, because basically Adolf Hitler, who was a World War One vet and the leader of Germany at the time, he was basically forced to abandon his invasion of Great Britain. So what does Germany do? They basically turn their attentions east towards the Soviet Union. And so at the beginning of the World War II, Germany and the Soviet Union signed a non-aggression pact. Basically, basically it was Germany's reassurance that the Soviet Union wouldn't interfere in any way whatsoever. But but that all went down the toilet on June 22nd, 1941, when one dictator double-crossed another, naming Adolf Hitler double-crossed the Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin, and about over, I believe, 3.5 million troops invaded the Soviet Union. And everything seemed to go well for the German military as they advanced, deep inside the Soviet Union. and that. But like for the first initial battles inside during Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of the Soviet Union, German forces were concentrated for battles like on the frontier. But as Operation Barbarossa dragged on, German forces were dangerously stretched. So basically, they were vulnerable to Soviet counterattacks. And the whole objective of Operation Barbarossa was the German military was split into three groups. Army Group North struck towards Leningrad because of its final batteries, which produce the tanks and that for the Soviet Red Army and all the other equipment. And then Army Group Center struck towards Moscow, the heart of the Soviet Union, or Russia, whatever. And then Army Group South was supposed to strike into the Ukraine and capture the rich farmlands of Ukraine. But Soviet bomber crews of the Black Sea Fleet, based at the Crimea Peninsula, started bombing attacks on Germany's vital source of oil, which came from Romania. And Soviet bomber crews of the Black Sea Fleet started attacking the Romanian oil fields near the Romanian city of Ploiest. So unfortunately, as a result of this, the Soviet Union caught the attention of Germany. So basically, Adolf Hitler basically told the commander of Army Group basically issued a directive which gave increasing priority to operations of Army Group South. So Army Group South turned south towards the Crimea Peninsula to deal with the Soviets, and that. So what else? So yeah. So other than that, as Operation Barbarossa dragged on, the German military started losing, a lot of, manpower and equipment as a result of these, fierce and bloody Soviet counterattacks, and that, and then in 1942, the German military, there was a group that was split into two parts. Army group, there was one group that was supposed to strike south to capture the Soviet oil fields in the Caucasus, and the other group, led by the German Sixth Army, which was commanded by von Richthofen until he died of natural causes, and then the German Sixth Army was commanded by Friedrich Paulus. And the thing is, the German military kind of really undermined their own tactics by bombing the Soviet city of Stalingrad. Because by bombing the Soviet city of Stalingrad, it gave perfect cover to like the Soviet snipers of the Soviet Red Army. So literally, like both the Soviet and German troops had to literally crawl on all fours because of snipers on both sides. So basically, in other words, you stood up. Basically, you were basically dead because of the brutal, urban combat, or as the Germans called it, Rattenkrieg, which was basically rat warfare of the because of the Germany, because of the Luftwaffe bombing Stalingrad, and that. What else? Other than that, it looks a little gloomy outside right now. here in Winnipeg, it looks like it's going to be good temperature wise in that. And also what else? Uh, Other than that, unfortunately, at the players curling championship, unfortunately, Winnipeg's Jennifer Jones unfortunately lost. Jennifer Jones is has accomplished a lot over her curling career. In the only out of the entire team, the only two people that have been together the longest are Jennifer Jones and Jennifer Jones' second, Jill Lobster. They've been together since their junior curling days. Uh, what else? Uh, other than that, other than that, um, I'm just sitting here, just chilling in the man cave, watching TV, working on my laptop, stuff like that. Um, Other than that, I'm just starting to wind my weekends just starting to wind down and that. So, oh wait, oh, sorry about that, folks. Anyways, on that note, this has been another edition of my show, The Stuart Dolph Show. For you young people, stay in school, stay out of trouble, and you do fine. And I also I apologize ahead of time. I haven't made another YouTube video for my show, The Stuart Dolph Show, since my last one on April 6th. It's just I've been really busy with work and sports, but all my sports are starting to wind down now. Like I've done curling for the season, and I'm almost done bowling for the season, and I don't know. And then the only sport I have left is swimming, and that's about it. But on that note, Alvita saying bye bye, and just try to stay cool, my friends.